skills are expiring faster than ever.
I feel anxious all the time.
A fixed mindset asks, am I still good enough?
You feel like so anxious, so FOMO.
First principles of learning is not to learn more, but to learn less.
Moving fast beats overthinking.
Effort is not a weakness, it's how growth actually happens. Growing is the best cure for anxiety. Lifelong growth doesn't start with information, but with the belief that growth is possible.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Aibrary podcast, where we learn, we build, and we grow together in the age of AI. I am Dora, the content strategist here at Aibrary. And this series is our open space for honest conversations, reflections, and ideas in progress. It's where we open the window a little and let you see how Aibrary is actually built through continuous learning. And today's episode is a bit special because we're almost at the end of the year, which means our reflections will stretch all the way across 2025. We'll also be giving you a first look at a new feature we're building. It's called For You. It's more personalized learning experience with Aibrary. And right on the time for the Christmas holidays, we have a book recommendation for you as well. All right, let's welcome today's guests, our founders, Suzanne and Frank. Thank you both for being here and for being so generous to share openly. Let's jump right in. Are you guys ready?
Thanks very much, Dora, and very glad to be here.
Thank you, Dora, and glad to see all you guys here.
Wonderful. And the first part is about our personal learning. I love for each of you to look gently across 2025. What ideas stayed with you? What moments changed something for you? Or what surprised you? Wherever you want to go with. And maybe let's start with Frank.
Okay, thanks very much, Dora. And I do believe this is a great opportunity for us to reflect on what we are building and what we have been learning every day. So in terms of what we learned this week or in the past months, one of the most important things is definitely, we are so lucky to be building this kind of lifelong learning startup. Building a startup is always, there are a lot of obstacles, ups and downs. But at the same time, for us, ourselves are lifelong learners. So we want to learn by ourselves and by doing. So the first lesson I learned is really we ourselves keep learning. So that's also the reason behind building the Aibrary Town Hall, or we call Build and Learn in Public with Aibrary. We want to show sincerely to the public what we learn, and at the same time, we draw from what we learned to what we built. So gradually, I think this is something we want to contribute to all the things we create. So this is the first part. And the second part is that, the company has been found almost 1 year. So the past 1 year definitely has been the deepest learning curve for myself. And I believe it's the same for the entire team. So whenever we face any obstacles, the most important thing we have been thinking is to go back to the original starting point, why we started this company in the first place. At that time, by the end of last year, we do feel like there is something we want to do for education. We are learners by ourselves, impacted by AI. Everything is changing so fast. We are so formal. We want to catch up with the latest trend. But at the same time, we do believe that there is still something deeper in our mind that we should insist on. So that's why we started the Aibrary, to help people really to get the power to continue grow and learn. And so for ourselves, building a startup is really difficult. You have to deal with the team management, the product launch, market dynamics. Whenever there is a large language model update, we are amazed to see the possibilities, but at the same time, we'll see a lot of competitors, especially in current days, is really moving very fast. But facing all those obstacles, the thing that make us consistent is really going back to where we start. And whenever we went back, the problem seems just trivial to all of us. So this is the thing for building startup. The last thing I want to mention is also similar to human learning. So like every day we have so many things to learn about. So I don't know it may be the same, similar for Dora and Susan. How many things you learn every day? Maybe you wake up, so many like messages, emails, like social media telling you it's revolutionary, everything is changing. You have to be building something extraordinary. So everything you're just filled with so much information, but like I'm someone who like to go back to first principles. For me, first principles of learning sometimes it's like kind of simple. It's not to learn more, but to learn less. So that's why in Aibrary, we are building a new initiative. It's called Aibrary 100, which will be coming soon. I think it's in the January the 1st, 2026. We will have our first Aibrary 100. We have our anticipations and analysis of what people should learn. You just learn very basic things in 2026. Drawing from the industrial change and also the society trends, etc. So we narrowed down to just 100 books. So this laid the foundation for every wisdom you can draw from to build all the other knowledges you have. So just a very small pointing out that Aibrary 100 is coming out soon. The best way is, of course, to read all those 100 books word by word. But if you don't have that much time, we have curated a list in Aibrary. You just listen to them, just 10 minutes each episode. You can also create your own version of Aibrary 100, how to leverage all those wisdom to your own lives. So using the Ideal Tune feature. So a lot of fascinating things coming forward. So those are three most important things I learned in the past week or the past months. So I will move to Susan. Anything coming up in your mind that is most important?
I actually think I resonate with you a lot as an entrepreneur, especially like for AI native startup. We all feel the information is overwhelmed all the time. And one of the key lessons I learned in 2025, I think is moving fast actually beats overthinking. So like almost every month or every day, we see all those large language models probably have some updates, major changes, and those agentic models, they have new product launch. Even like almost every single day, you will find, oh, there's an AI native app launched. And for us, like already entrepreneur in the battleground, you feel like so anxious and so FOMO. You feel like every day you want to search and look at what are they doing? What we should do to become like providing better product and make sure our company kind of survive here? I think it's the same feeling for most of people when you're trying to like just stay updated with the current like AI changes. I feel anxious all the time. I would say that's like the very beginning of 2025, how I feel. I almost like every day I try new product, but then later on, I feel like, well, there's a lot of noise. It's very important to identify what are the signal, the true things you should take action other than the noise. So you actually need to calm down a little bit and think about what you could actually do to change yourself and also change our company. So that's when you need to actually take the actions part. And for me, like every day, one of the things I do every morning is I actually open library, open our products and then learn something. Because I know the things I learned like 10 to 15 minutes, I just learned usually on my commute to the office. The content I get, at least, is not just noise. It's actually coming from books, awesome bestsellers. We have the entire content team behind us. Make sure there's no hallucination. This is like human wisdom. And I could search for the information that personalized for me. And then I will take some notes. Okay, this is something I want to change today. This is some inspiration I got from there. So as a chief growth officer for Aibrary, like most of the time I was looking at what are some marketing messages we should send, how we build a growth engine to get us more users, how can we get user feedback as quickly as possible so we could iterate our product. To make sure all the users like our product and have the aha moment. Those are the questions I always ask Aibrary and find some really good books I could learn from. And then I take actions. Once I'm taking the actions, I'm learning, I'm iterating, I feel more calm and more peaceful. I don't feel anxious. So I would say stop overthinking, stop worrying about all those things, start learning and take actions from now on. That's something I literally tell me every day. And I hope that's one message I could also bring to all the people like listening us today. That's how you could be a lifelong learner. Just
Yeah,
from today.
it's not from the passion you have demonstrated, also the smells in our mind, in my face, you can feel like Dora. You see, if you build something fascinating or build a lifelong learning product, it's like comforting. Usually, I have seen many other chief growth officers in other parts of the company. They are very anxious every day to see the user growth numbers, how to attract the users, what is conversion rate, etc. There are a million things to make you anxious. I just feel like growing is the best cure for anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we spend most of the time focusing on what has changed, but
Yeah.
something actually unchanged. That's something we should more focus on. AI changed a lot of things, but there are some fundamentals haven't changed. And that's also very important for us to pay attention to. And I think books, sometimes, this is not what I say. Some people told me like, what kind of books you should pick. You should pick the books when the authors are passed away. And I asked why. And they said, because when the author passed away, then that means the books still become bestseller. The time passed. The time will filter what are the true wisdom for the entire human histories. So that's why I always go back to the books, finding what hasn't changed, especially in the like a go-to market and the marketing stage. Even in the AI stage, when you develop a new product, you still need to understand who is your customers, what are the pain points you are solving, how to make your customer satisfied. Those hasn't changed that much. Stay the same. It's just how we achieve those goals are changing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I resonate very much with you guys about your focus on FOMO. Like the impacts are huge because we all have like an overwhelming amount of information every single day, feeling that we need to keep learning. But sometimes it's very important to just go back to the fundamentals to stay connected with people, stay focused on the mission you want to achieve. And also reminds me of moving fast and break things. Sometimes when you're like kind of busy, and just like Frank said, I think Suzanne's positive energy is really, really inspiring. Sometimes when you're super busy, but you can still stay positive, that's a good thing. Definitely. And I think it influences the entire team as well. And I think it's wonderful that we're working to promote lifelong learning and also we're practicing lifelong learning by ourselves.
Dora, maybe you didn't know that before this podcast, we had several meetings in the morning, and last night, early, I think like 12:30 in the morning a.m., we're still just having a lot of meetings with the product team about the new feature we are launching, etc. So like it's kind of really busy, but still you can see the smiles for all of us. And then it's even for you, I think, Dara, currently it's very late for you, but still like there are a lot of great messages see in all of us.
Yeah, I think these kind of like positive vibe is just contagious. You know, it affects people around you, right? And with that, let's probably move on to something also very exciting about our upcoming new feature for you. I know we've been working very hard on polishing both the web and mobile version of For You, and I just joined a round of internal user feedback this Monday, and already feels like a very promising feature, a step forward to truly personalized learning. And I think it's about meeting users where they are, understanding their rhythm, and helping them to grow in the directions they really care about the most. So, Susan, I'd like to pass it to you. Could you possibly tell us a little bit more about For You, what it is, and the deeper why behind creating it?
Yeah, thanks, Dora. I think this is, I'm personally also very excited for this new feature for you. And let me explain a little bit, like when the team building this, what we're thinking behind it. So as we briefly mentioned before, like today, most of people feel like information overwhelmed. There are tons of information there. So I would say in the AI age, content generation is not the key. Content consumption becomes the key. Because think about before the AI age, sometimes we kind of lack of high quality content. You need some brilliant minds to create those great contents, like you follow certain KOLs or YouTube creators or some professors, their blogs, because you think the content quality is really good. But with AI, Gen AI, like today, normal people could literally create some really good content with the support of the AI. So we could foresee that the content generation will be not the bottleneck here. Tons of the content will be generated here. However, then when all the people seeing different contents, the time you spend on consuming the content and turn those content into like some knowledge yourself and taking actions on it, those becomes the bottleneck or becomes the key. When you feel about the true learning, it's when you finally spend like 20 minutes every morning reading something or listening to something, and you find, oh, I learned something and I want to do that. So that's becomes the key. And then when we think about how we could make sure, like maximize the 20 or 30 minutes every people was learning on the go, like when you're commute or when you're doing your morning exercises, something like that. How we could maximize the information you are getting during that 20 or 30 minutes, how we could improve the productivity. Then we keep thinking. I think the one key message we got here is relevancy. So there are tons of information there. Why this information I want to consume? Because it's highly relevant for me. It gives me some inspiration. It tell me what to do. And that's exactly the core concept we have behind For You. So you could imagine it's very similar like you're scrolling the TikTok, but what you're scrolling is not just some random feed, make you laughing all the time. Actually, what you're scrolling are the content on demand, generated just for you. So it's highly relevant for you. And what's behind those information, those are very important contents just generated or insights from the trustworthy sources, like the books. So our team Aibrary, we have like the entire largest library probably in the world. No matter what books you want to read, even the newest published book, we already have that in this library. And then we created the most trustworthy content for you, just basically understanding yourself a little bit. So in the onboarding process, this is like a normal chat. So we just ask you, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, like your background, what you are thinking about, what are your learning goals? Then just one or few sentences, you tell us a little bit. And then a few moments later, you have your hyper-personalized feed just for you.
So then I think that you can show the demo.
Yeah, on the onboarding process, you have our learning companion, which is Nova, your chief growth officer, and accompany you along the journey. Take me as example. I will just type in my name, so Susan, and I hit continue. Then I'm just typing in I'm the chief growth officer at an AI native ad tech startup, and also a new mom of 9 months baby. I'm also going to tell a little bit more, like I'm a global citizen with extensive experience in US, China, and Southeast Asia. I love history and innovation and also entrepreneurship. Yeah. That's all. The more information we gave, actually, our algorithm behind it is going to be more accurate. So here we go. It literally tell me, okay, they know my name, and then they're just going to ask me a few questions. Okay, let's hit continue. So those are truly personalized questions now I'm getting. I'm just checking the things I'm interested in. Those are quite interesting ones. So I'm just going to check all of them. And then more questions. Yeah, see? Aibrary is literally generating my personal profile. Let's wait a few seconds and see what I got. Oh, see what I got? This is my learning persona. It's like the MBTI test. Everyone could get a unique one. So who am I? I'm the global architect, the nutrient innovator, and the strategic integrator. Looks like something I literally want to post on my Instagram. Okay, let's see what I got. Wow, this is what I got for my daily briefing. And you could see actually I have a couple of just the generated cards just for me. Let's see whether the content works for me. First one is stop rote memorization, start true understanding, the guide to deep learning. Well, with that, actually that seems quite interesting. And if I hit play that, I probably will literally see the on-demand generated podcast there. And it actually comes from very good books, Make It Stick and Ultra Learning. All seems good to me. The second one is the growth mindset trap. Oh yeah. Looks like really interesting book I should read. I think I'm ready to embark on my daily briefing. Those are really good content for me to listen on my commute. Do you also want to try?
Yeah, totally. That's very much amazing, I guess, because the recommendations are very personal. It's just designed for Susan, but as you can see, they're also very diversified, covering like different aspects of interest of Susan's and her different aspects of identity. I can't wait to see for you grow with our users. And that actually connects also very beautifully to another project happening here, Aibrary 100, our curated reading collection that will be released soon as well. I think Frank just briefly mentioned about it. And I know you've prepared a holiday reading recommendation for us today. Is it one of the Aibrary 100 picks? Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the 100 picks. As I mentioned before, the most important thing sometimes is not to read more, but sometimes is to read less, to cut the noise and focus on the most essential part. This week, I want to introduce you a book that really had a significant impact on ideas behind how we build Aibrary. It's by Professor Carol Dweck. It's called Mindset. This book is a tutorial for everyone who wants to have a lifelong growth. Let me start with a simple question. Have you ever failed at something important? And the first thought in your head was not, that didn't work, but maybe I'm just not good enough. If that failed this before, then this episode is for you. Today, I want to share a key idea from the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. After decades of research, she discovered something surprisingly simple. What shapes our lives is not our ability itself, but what we believe about our ability. In other words, it's not how smart you are, it's how you think intelligence works. There are two types of mindsets, and the two types of mindsets can lead to two types of life paths. Dweck describes the two basic mindsets. The first literally means fixed mindset. People with a fixed mindset believe abilities are mostly fixed. So you are either good at something or you are not. Success becomes about proving yourself. I'm smart. I'm talented. And the failure feels like a judgment on who you are. That means effort feels like dangerous. I know there are a lot of friends or classmates in your schools, or at least it's same for me. There are some people who have been working very hard, but they just tend to believe, no, I'm not working hard. So this is a fixed mindset. Because if you were truly capable, why would you need this kind of effort? But the second mindset is totally different. It's called growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe that abilities can be developed through effort, strategy, and help from others. So here, failure is not an identity, it's information. Effort is not a weakness, it's how growth actually happens. This doesn't mean failure feels good. It just means failure doesn't define you. So why this still matters in the AI age? As the co-founder of Aibrary, I think a lot of learning in the AI age is very important. And one thing is very clear. Skills are expiring faster than ever. What really matters now is not what you know, but whether you can keep learning. A fixed mindset asks, am I still good enough? But a growth mindset asks, what should I learn next? Only one of those questions works in a rapidly changing world. But, in the book, Carol Dweck not only listed a lot of concepts, but also some practical ways. For example, here is one practical takeaway. When something goes wrong, notice your inner reaction. If you hear, I failed, it's so bad, try adding one word, I failed. Yet, this tiny word makes a huge difference. The small shifts turns judgment into possibility. Failure is not an event, it's a message. And mindset determines how you read that message. At Aibrary, we believe lifelong growth doesn't start with information, but with the belief that growth is possible. And that belief might be the most important thing you can ever learn.
Thank you so much, friend. And you're so good at doing this. I guess it's probably because of your prior experience of teaching in the classroom, and you're using a lot of like vivid examples to explain the concepts and making connections. I guess everybody can get the gist of the book, and growth mindset is definitely super important in terms of like redefining smartness, especially in this ever-changing world. And thank you so much, Suzanne and Frank. And thank you everyone who's there with us. Hope you liked this episode. And we're incredibly excited for what's ahead, especially the launch for you and Aibrary 100. Definitely stay tuned. Both are coming out very soon. And of course, please share your feedback with us anytime we're building this together. You guys want to share a little bit about Christmas?
Dora, you want to begin? I know you are flying soon.
Yeah, we're going to Peru.
Oh my God. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be an adventure.
I'm
travel
actually
plans?
visit my friends, my family, and spend some time traveling around. But at the same time, read some books I didn't have time to read and catch up with some of the shows we haven't seen. I began to develop some new habits. Yeah, how about you, Susan?
I will just go back to my home with my little ones and telling, like, sweetie, you are smart, but you should also have the growth mindset. I just learned today. Kidding. But I literally said a lot, sweetie, you're very smart. But now I'm saying you're also going to be working hard. You need to have the growth mindset.
Yeah, enjoy your holidays.
Merry Christmas.
And we'll see you
Enjoy
in
your
our
holidays.
next conversation. See you next time.
See you next time. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.